right, you said your name's Shawn. You're kind of known as Shawn of Detroit?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to ask you some questions about like your beliefs, realities, mainstream science, religion, whatever. And like I said, if and I might hit you with some different things that you might not have heard of and might not agree with, but you can prove me wrong. I'll give you $100, but I'll give you $5 for the interview, man. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how open-minded would you say you are?
Very open.
Like a 10 or?
Yeah.
10, all right.
As high as it.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, fair enough. Do you think you should look at both sides of an argument before making a decision on what side's right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you trust your senses?
Yeah, instinct. Yeah.
Senses or like
intuition. Yeah.
Intuition or like crossing the street, putting your clothes on, stuff like that, basic senses?
Yeah.
You do? Do you trust the government?
No.
Fair enough. Do you think the majority is always right?
No.
All right. How do you think everything came to be? Like, do you believe in like a Big Bang? Do you think creationism, or do you think you just don't really have a belief on it?
I don't know, but my general view is that if there's nothing, which I think is possible, if you're an atheist, you gotta build up your community and stuff, because that's all you got. If you believe in a religion, pretty much any of them really, you kind of, it's like you look at it as like we're kind of like the artificial intelligence. If we want to test it out, if we created AI, and make sure they're not going to do anything crazy and overtake, So
you're open to both views, kind of?
Yeah, kind of. It's either way you want, and then you would want to do the exact same thing. So I think everyone's kind of actually trying to do the same thing. All the fighting is crazy with religions and all that, but
fair enough.
You want to build up your community, same thing. Show that you can do it.
What would be your definition of science?
Scientific method.
Like observable, measurable, testable, repeatable?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think science should ever be a closed book?
No.
What's the difference between a belief and a knowing?
Belief can be changed. You reserve the right to change your beliefs, because it's with the information you have at the time. Knowing is, I don't know if we really know anything.
Like, would you say knowing is me and you here talking at least?
Yeah, the present. You never know what's going to happen next.
But would you like a knowing would be like, there's cars on the street there.
Basic. And
there's super. That's a definite knowing.
Reality now, yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's the big topic question. I'll give you a few answers to it, and then whichever one, and then I might kind of follow up on this. What shape do you think the Earth is? Do you believe it's an oblate spheroid? Do you believe it's flat, or do you believe it's without form, or do you believe it's something different?
I think it's somewhat like a sphere.
Like an oblate spheroid, like we're talking, and it kind of spins in space.
Yeah.
All right. Can I ask you why you believe that?
I have, I know the science behind it. I learned it in school, and I know in school they teach you what to think, not how to think, but, I also have been on boats and can kind of see the spherical shape on the horizon. The Great Lakes, not the ocean, but you can still kind of see, you can't see land on the other side.
Yeah, they can videotape land from like across Lake Michigan to Chicago skyline. That's like over 60 miles. And they call
I've been on Lake Superior. Actually, Houghton Lake up, and that's not even a Great Lake. You can't see. You get in there, you can still see it.
You can see it?
Yeah.
They call it the horizon though, or
yeah, the horizon. It looks somewhat spherical.
You think? Mainstream science says you can't see it from the actual ground. You know that, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't see it from the ground. You can't see it from an airplane. Google will say you can see it from an airplane, but you know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is?
Yes.
All right. Have you ever heard the Red Bull high jump?
No.
All right. A guy jumped out. I think his name was Felix Baumgartner. He jumped out from 125,000 feet in the air. I think that's like 25 miles.
Yeah. Okay.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson goes on and says that's a fisheye line. It's 25 miles in the air. You know who Richard Branson is?
Yes.
All right. He took people up 63 miles in the air. And Neil deGrasse Tyson also says that's a fisheye line. So you can't see that from the. So basically, no one has seen the curvature of the Earth unless they've been to space. What they're telling us. So you know what difference between natural science and theoretical science is? Like,
no.
natural science is like using the world things that we can use right here, as opposed to theoretical science, or formal science is like mathematics, which you can make a crazy mathematical equation, and it can match reality, but it really doesn't.
Yeah.
So I like natural science. Would you agree? 1,000,000% of the time, water will take the shape of its container.
Sure.
Sure. All right. If the Earth's covered in over 72% water, how could it be a sphere? If water always takes the shape of its container.
Well, I mean, it does. It's a good one. It's I mean, it does. It's held by gravity.
Gravity. But I mean, you'd never be able to show me water bending and holding form like it is on the heliocentric model.
No. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
All right. Do you think we breathe the same stuff in space?
I don't think we can breathe in space.
So yeah, they tell us space is like a vacuum, and it's like the closest thing to like a negative pressure system we can get. It's not a perfect negative pressure system, but in science and application, it's known to create pressure, you need a solid separation, like a barrier. So we live in a positive pressure here in our environment. They say space is a vacuum, like a negative pressure system. Could you give me a practical example of two opposing pressure systems existing side by side without a solid barrier?
Other than other planets.
Not in any type of natural science or anything like that, though, that we could observe?
No.
No? All right. Well, then, I guess here's the question. Like I said, I'll give you $5 for the interview. And, do you know the difference between the eclipses?
It's the...
Like a lunar eclipse, a solar
Yes,
eclipse?
yes.
What's a lunar eclipse?
Lunar eclipse is... I don't know I know the difference.
Solar,
I don't know which one's which. One's the moon in front of the sun. The other one is
Earth's shadow.
Earth's shadow. Yeah.
Yeah. Solar eclipse is if when the moon goes in front of the sun.
Okay.
A lunar eclipse is basically when they tell us mainstream science is it's always a curved surface. The sun or the Earth's shadow is casted on the moon at nighttime during a lunar eclipse. All right.
Yeah, that looks spherical.
Yeah, for sure. But could you hold up both your hands?
Yeah.
Hold your hands. Say the Earth's in the middle of it. You got the moon on one side and the sun on the other side. So how would you be able to disprove that it's the sun blocking out the moon and not the Earth's shadow? Because you'd agree the sun's round, right?
With natural science, I couldn't disprove it. It's.
So would you say, I asked you the difference between a belief and a knowing. So
Yeah,
would
it's
you say it's a knowing or a belief that the Earth's a round ball?
I guess it's still a belief unless
You see it for yourself?
you see it for yourself, and I mean there's a lot of pictures and stuff, so I don't know.
But if I could give you a picture, say if I told you I could fly right now, but I could only show me flying on camera, would you believe it?
I might if it was video.
Videoed?
And I
couldn't do it right now for you, but I can only show you on the video.
I mean, if you mean like flying, like actual,
Like me taking off and flying right now. I tell you I can fly, but
no, because you can't prove there's no mathematics or anything behind it.
No mathematics. But what if I gave you a crazy mathematical equation that said I could do it?
I don't think you could.
Yeah, could you give me a crazy mathematical
basic aerodynamics?
Would you be able to give me a crazy mathematical equation that could show water conform to the exterior of a shape?
I don't know the math behind it.
You don't know the math on it?
No.
That's a belief?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll give you a demo here if you can disprove it. You know what the star Polaris is?
Yes.
It's right in the middle of us. I like to say it's a realm without form. It's stationary and it does all the stars do perfect geocentric circles around it. How would you be able to disprove that everything's spinning around us causing the Coriolis effect? The moon would push the tides, the sun would contract the tides. They say if you shoot a bullet west, because the Coriolis effect, the bullet will dip down. But I say it's based off a false axiom. Shoot the bullet west at nighttime when the moon's there, it'll bounce up. And like I said, the lunar eclipse is actually the sun blocking out the moon. Could you disprove it?
You know, the main reason I would believe that stuff, I can't disprove it, but the main reason I would believe that is also I've seen the other planetary bodies and telescopes.
You know what a logical fallacy is?
I understand it could be a logical fallacy and stuff, but
What is
it
it?
does
What's a logic?
lead
What's a
me
lo-
to, like I said, I always keep an open mind. If
Yeah.
someone came up with new evidence that told me that,
Well, I've gave you some evidence. Water takes the shape of its container. 2 opposing pressure systems. Polaris doesn't move. And I've given you a different reason for the eclipse. So, I mean, don't have
I
no-
can't disprove.
So, a
it.
logical
I can't.
fallacy. What's a logical fallacy in your terms? Like,
It's
It's
it's basically false logic. It could be that, but it could be something else.
in the terms
too.
where I'm using it here, it's like basically, say we were on a tennis court right now, and I threw a bunch of tennis balls on the ground right now. Would that make the tennis court a round ball?
No.
So just because everything's a circle in the sky, does that mean does that make the Earth a round ball?
No, but it. I mean, it's just there's a lot of illogical stuff you'd have to disprove.
Well, that's logical. Like, you know, they haven't been back to the moon in over 50 years. You know, they destroyed the technology to get back to the moon. Have you ever heard the Antarctic Treaty before?
No.
They made the Antarctic Treaty.
Oh yeah, Antarctic Treaty. Yes.
Yeah, they made that right around the same time as the space race or whatever.
Yeah, and I know that there's a lot of people that believe we didn't go to the moon. I don't really have an opinion on that. I don't know. I know the argument behind that, but
Hard to prove or disprove or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm one of those that don't buy it or whatever. I believed it first for a long time, then I quit believing it probably about 6 years ago. I'm 43, 37. I kind of like, no, I don't buy it no more. They keep saying every year. But all right, that's about it, man. I appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
all right.